It's a me, Amari. I mean, Top the King. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. Today we have a deck called Temur Wolves. All right, enough playing around. Like I said, deck is called a Temur Wolves, and thank you for joining me, tuning into my channel, watching my videos. Thanks for the support. But yeah, we have Temur Wolves for best of 3. So we're gonna go take this onto the ladder and see how it works. We're currently, the reset just happened, so we're gonna be on a diamond ranked here. But yeah, this is the deck so far. We're taking advantage of the wolf package in best of 3. So far, the deck at the moment is, where is it at? It's 3-0, so 100% win rate. This is the deck that got me into diamond quick. 24 and 388% win rate. But yeah, 3-0 so far in diamond. So we're going to play it in diamond, 100% win rate, see what we do with it. But let's get into it real quick, see how we have. So right off the bat, we got 2 negates in this deck. Since that's the reason why it's Temur, because we need the blue for counter spells against the Izzet Churns decks, the blue-black controls, you know, the Izzet Dragons, whatever. We need the counter spells against them. Either you're in black for cards like Duress and stuff, or you're in blue for counter spells. And I rather go into the blue aspect for this deck for the counter spells. I do have a Jund version of Wolves that I will be trying later on this week, which is what, you know, the black, so that way I can get access to cards like Duress. But so we got 2 negates for the control packages, and then obviously we got 3 disdainful strokes in the sideboard against them after sideboards, 2 thundering rebuke. Since this could do 4 damage to creature or planeswalker, it's a pretty solid card. The only bad part is the sorcery speed, but it can kill against the green snow decks. It can kill their 3-drop with 2 mana. That's what it's mainly there for. It's like against these green snow decks, you know, they're, what is it, the troll guy who's a 4/4. So it's mainly there for that. 4 ranger classes, obviously they create wolves, they get you creatures off the top, put counters on your creatures. Of course, there's going to be 4 copies in a creature based deck. Ranger class usually, in my opinion, should be 3 to 4 copies in. 4 werewolf pack leaders. It's a wolf deck. This guy is probably the only bad part of this guy is it being, or I guess I don't know if it's a wolf chick or a wolf guy, but because it looks like they're wearing a dress, or I don't know. The only bad part the only bad part about it is it's double green in a 3-color deck. Double green on turn 2 can be interesting in a sense, just because we have 4 red specific mana here. I mean, of course, you know, you got red and blue, so if you draw this, it has to be red or blue, but every other land could create green. So we have 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have 19 sources that can create green, so hopefully that shouldn't happen, but obviously you would love to have this guy on turn 2. For naturalist, of course, because the flip side gives you the werewolves +1/+1, and as you can see, that creates a wolf. That's a wolf. That's wolf. That's not a wolf, but it's a land slash creature. We'll see if I will change this, but since the land count is so low, 19 lands, I'm able to play stuff like that and that to bring the land count up. But we'll play around with it because 19 plus 8, that's 27 lands. 27 lands might be a bit much for this deck, so I might cut this. We'll see what happens. But the front side gives you a mana. The back side gives you a mana as well as pumping other wolves. So we're running 4 copies of that. This is technically a land, so I'm just going to leave it there. It also counts as removal, but you're going to use it as a land, and if you ramp up a lot because of running 7, you use it as a removal, so that's what that's for. 3, Stormseeker, of course, because, well, it gives any card haste on the turn. So the main reason here is to cast this turn 3, cast Chariot on 4. You get to attack them for 7 damage and create another token. So you get to create, what is that, 6 power on board, because Chariot comes into play, creates 2/2/2s. You give it animated, give it haste, and creates another 2/2. So turn 4 creates 6 power, 6 toughness on board, and at the same time still hitting them for 7 damage. Very strong. So we're running 4 copies of this. Like I said, it gives the creature haste. It's very good. Obviously the flip side, then it gets a trample and haste. Trample effect, I mean, we don't really get our creatures too big here, so unless it's a rend token. But 4 mammoths, like I said, this is more of a land and it's a creature. Worst case scenario, it's a land, but it's a creature 3/3, for 3. So we're running that. Dire Overload. I wish it wasn't legendary. If it wasn't legendary, I would run 4 copies of it and definitely trim one of these. But since it's legendary, only running 3 copies of it. But otherwise, still a very good card. It draws you cards, and when your wolves do damage, the flip side, you could pump your mana into a creature and give it trample, as well as still draw cards. So very, very solid card. It's a draw mechanic, just the same thing as Pack Leader is a draw mechanic. If you have both of them in play, turn 2, turn 3, or whatever, turn 4, I guess, when you attack, you get to draw 2 cards. It's pretty good. Chariot, obviously Ren and Stormseeker. We're running 4 copies of Chariot for that reason. You could technically do 3 copies if you don't have 4. But of course, if you have 4 copies, you get this combo much easier, and that's what I'm kind of looking for. So I'm running 4 copies. 3 Arlens, create you the wolves. The backside, the flip side is not as, it's good. I don't think it's as good as the front side, because the front side, for one, against control decks, very solid effect, the plus effect to give your creatures flash, and they come in with an additional 1/1 counter. So now you can make your opponent tap mana on their own turn, and that's how you beat control. You beat control when they're forced to tap mana on their own turn, so that way they can't counter your stuff on your turn. So the +1 is very good against control. The -3 creating wolves is a very good effect. Now the flip side, adding mana and making it a 5/5 indestructible haste. Making it a 5/5 indestructible haste with trample is solid, but the plus effect is not very good. But of course, that plus effect leads to the others. When it flips back over, then you make more wolves, and then you know what I mean? So it technically feeds each other, but I honestly like the front side more than the back side. But we're running 3 copies because it's a planeswalker, hard for control decks to deal with it, and it creates wolves. And then, of course, we have 3 Ren and 7s. Like I said, Chariot, create a tree, gets you lands. The only bad part about the plus effect is these Kazoo Mammoth and Shadow Skull do not count as lands. So technically, you only have 19 lands to hit with the plus effect. So just to give you a forewarning, that's what that works. These, why did it move? These are considered spells anywhere other than, in play or whatever. So just to let you know. But the lands, nothing special. We got some blue lands here, some blue lands here for the counter spells. Otherwise, it's just this solid, Gruul land. This is the sideboard. We're going to play around with it. So far, the sideboard is doing pretty well, so I don't know if I'm going to change it much. But we'll see what we are using, what we're not using as we keep playing. And like I said, it's only 3 matches we've played with the deck, so of course it's not too much info, but 3 matches is not bad. We've played against, you thought usually it gives you, there you go. Played against Blue Black twice. We played against Is It. So we're doing pretty well against those control decks with this deck. So that's good that it's good against the control decks. But we'll go more in depth to the sideboard guide. So the sideboard guide is going to be after the gameplay. So stick around for that, and we'll see if the sideboard changes at all. So stick around for the gameplay. Stick around for the sideboard guide at the end of the video, and don't forget to subscribe. It's me. Subscribe to my channel. Help the support. Don't forget to hit that. All right, enough of that. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscription button, hit the notification button. Check the description on the video. It has the portable deck list for you. Also has my Discord. If you want to join my Discord, I help people out there. They ask for, deck advice, sideboard advice, what they would change, how would they play this and whatnot. I also post on my Discord decks that, for example, this deck I posted already, a couple of days ago on my Discord. So decks that I'm testing, working with, I usually post it early in Discord. So if you want to check that, join my Discord, that's there. But yeah, check it out. Check the description, drop some comments, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscription button. Let's get into the gameplay. Stick around for the sideboard guide at the end of the video. Let's see how we do. We're currently 3-0 with the deck. Let's see how much more we can do with it. All right, we found an opponent. Mick92. Let's play. Let's play some games. Okay, I can keep this. Turn 1 that. We could keep this. Yeah. So turn one this. I could put this one on green if I want to cast the pack later, and then I can put this one on red to cast this. And then technically with haste, I can attack with both of them. So we'll see what happens. And it looks like we're playing against green snow. So we'll see what happens. And we drew another one anyway, so that will go to blue if we need to later down the road. Tangle floor heathen. So put that one on red next turn. Swing in with multiple creatures. I hope. I mean, I don't. I haven't. I hope they don't play Chariot here. I could have killed it, but you know. Blood on the snow. Or Blizzard Brawl. I mean, not blood on the snow. What am I saying? Blood on the snow for? All right. Blizzard Brawl numero uno. So I can do this. Force the block, because the next turn I have Chariot. Or I can just kill this. I think we're just going to kill this. And then just cast Chariot next turn. And hopefully we draw a land, then we can cast a Wren. That's of course if they don't have their own Wren right now. Which I guess they do. Which I guess they do. Create a Tree Folk. Alright, just gonna put this on red because I don't know if I need the what's it called at the moment. So the Blizzard Brawl. If we were on the play, I guess we would have probably been dominating this game right now. Just to the fact because he was able to cast this turn too, and then into a Blizzard Brawl to take care of our pack later. So sure, he hit one land. Oh, he's playing that snow deck. I see. He's playing that snow deck. We need a land off the top. Hopefully we hit a land off the top. An untapped land, I should be exact. An untapped land off the top. I don't think they're going to attack. Unless they have a Blizzard Brawl. I don't think they're attacking. But it's not looking good at the moment. Yep, they have a Blizzard Brawl. Or maybe not. And they're just not going to attack. Looks like they're just not going to attack. What the heck are you doing, opponent? Are you doing a post-combat Blizzard Brawl? Post-combat Blizzard Brawl. Alright. Very interesting. That was very odd. So we can do 2 damage. So if I play this, I play Ren, I get a 5/5. Not sure if creating the 5/5 is. I guess we still have to do it though. There's no reason not to play the Ren here. And then I guess I just create. What is he saying? Nice. Come on, opponent. I can't attack into your dude anyways because I could actually attack and create the Tree Folk, but that would just be bad. I guess I just have to let Ren die. Gotta let Ren die. We could chump block the 2/2 to the Tree Folk, and then the 5/5. He's used 2 Blizzard Brawls, so what are the odds that they would draw another? They have another Blizzard Brawl is the question. We'll find out, I guess. Let's see. We play this, upgrade it, animate Chariot. If we hit a land, we could do tap that and tap that, maybe. We'll see what happens. Come on, opponent. Do you have a way to kill my Ren or something? You can animate the layer, and it becomes a 4/4 if you use Tangle Florhedron. But then I'll chump block with my 5/5. And then your Ren is open to being dead as well. Oh, he went for another Tree Folk, so that means he has another Ren in his hand. If you're going for another Tree Folk, that clearly means you have another Ren in your hand, right? Bridge tracker. Okay. Tracker. I'm surprised they gave up Ren. If you double attacks, you know, the 6/6 into my Ren, I can do the double block to kill it. I can also just chump block. So I could double block or I could chump block. I think I'm going to just chump. I think I'm just going to chump here. Because I could still use the plus effect on Ren. I could cast Ranger class. I could cast Storm whatever. Storm Seeker. So I think we're just going to chump. And then sacrifices the artifact. Did you draw Blizzard Brawl? I was gonna say, did you draw Blizzard Brawl number a trace? Alright, let's go look for some lands. 4 lands. 4 lands. 2 lands, not bad, I'll take it. 2 lands, not bad. I will take it. So put that in green, that becomes 6/6. So we can animate, attack, create another 6/6, cast the Chariot, and cast Ranger class. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna animate. I'm going to declare attack. So create another 6/6. Yep. And then, I mean, obviously I don't have any combat tricks, but he doesn't know that, right? I mean, it's an easy block, though. Sure. Why would you block with Tangle Florahedron? Like, why would you block with Tangle Florahedron there? So, let's cast another Chariot. And then play Ranger class. Nice indeed, Mike. Ranger class. Let's create a bunch of tokens. We're just going wide. Go wide. And then you're up, opponent. You're up. So next turn, what we can do is we cast Ranger class, double upgrade, and that way this can become a 6/6 if he doesn't have a land to his own Chariot. Okay. If he doesn't have a land, then we get would be nice if he doesn't have a land, because then these also become bigger than his, but idiot. Nope, 7/7. All right. 2/7/7. So we could chump block one. We could even double block the other one. So chump, double. Okay. Gotta keep Ren alive. Keeping Ren alive is going to be huge in our favor. We've got Chariot in play, so. Chariot. Sure. Got the other tracker. At least that's glad they're out of cards. For now. I mean, they can sack that and draw cards, but at the moment, they are out of cards. So, chump block. Okay, no, he doesn't want to do it. All right, so that is blue if we ever need it. So put this on green. Actually, let's do this first. Let's reveal the top cards. We hit 3 lands. Nice. I'll take it. 3, 6, 7. Do we need access to 7 mana? I don't think so, right? 2, 4, 6. We only need access to 6 mana. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Push me the money. Your upkeep gives a +1, +0 haste. All right, so like I said, I don't think we need. We don't think we need access to that. So I'm just gonna play this as my land drop. Let's create another one. So let's upgrade. Let's upgrade play the layer. All right. If I animate this, it becomes a 6/6. It's not strong enough. If I wait a turn, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attackers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't want to suicide my chariot quite yet. So I'm just gonna pass here. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass. If he wants to suicide his chariot, then I mean go for it, I guess. Next turn we get to create another tree folk. We can actually next turn do the 0 effect and put all our lands into play, so that way our tree guys become huge compared to his. Because then ours would become what? 1, 2, 3, 4. They become 11 11s, possible 12, 13 13s. So 13 13s is not bad. It eats all his tree guys alive. It's gonna animate Chariot here and swing out and try to kill Ren though. It's gonna kill Ren Reno. That's what I would do. I would swing out with everything and kill Ren. I mean, and he also still gets to create an 8/8F on top of that anyways, so I think that's his best play to do is just swing out at Ren. Yeah. Could have played the land, casted this, it would create another blocker instead of upgrading. So maybe instead of upgrading it twice since I didn't attack, I should have played an untapped land to cast this. I can have an extra blocker. That would give me 2, 4, 7 blockers. Yeah, so he's swinging all out at Ren. Giving up Lair of Hydra as his cost for Ren. Sure. Alright, so we're going to kill Chariot. For sure kill Chariot. We're going to probably kill one of his trackers. And then we'll see what happens from there, I guess. Oh, wow, he's going face. He's going face? Not really sure about that, though. Especially since I can kill his vigilance creatures. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know about going face. Yeah, I wish I would have played this now because it would also would have transformed. Since he didn't cast anything, or transformed. So he is going face. Okay. Alright, he got very aggressive. So let's pass the blockers. So block Chariot, block Tracker, block the Wolf, block the Wolf, chump block. Actually, that would be 16, so I have to chump block. So if I block that, I kill that, kill that, kill that. He's left with the 4/3, so he's left with one creature. He's left with one. He has 3 of those. I'm wondering if I should kill his tracker instead. So instead of blocking, then I would kill 2 of my wolves. But I'm also taking 8, 12 here. That just, are we just pretty much kind of dead then? If I kill his tracker, then he has 2 chump blockers. So something like that. And then we take, yeah, let's just do that. Force him to block my trees. All right. This is it. We're taking 10. We're going down to 4. All right. He has a lot of dudes, though. He does have a lot of dudes. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go to 8. So I could distribute 6. I could destroy this, attack for lethal. Animate, right? Alright, I think that's just lethal. So target this, target this. Right? Kill them both. We just got lethal. Nice. Shadow Skull smashing. Create the Ren token. No, not create the Ren token. Uh, put all the lands into play. Swing in. Got him. Got him, boys. Get him, boys. We stole that game one. Get him. Alright. So we don't want negates, unfortunately. We definitely want burning hands. Toski's an interesting one because it's indestructible, so it is very helpful. He has a random Vornclex in the deck, though. So I'm going to cut one of the Arlens. I'm going to cut one of the Mammoths. I think that's what we should do. Keep in the removal. I also would like to have maybe another Thundering Rebuke. Just so I could have access to more removal. Maybe I cut one of the Chariots for the other Rebuke. Or maybe this guy. Oh, you could cast this on turn 2. Oh. Alright, we're going to cut one of you for another Rebuke. Let's go. Let's go. Mick 92. So it's a good thing that I did block the Vigilance Tracker and kill off the Vigilance Tracker. Because otherwise we wouldn't have had enough power to beat him there. Enough power. We could have also just done the what's it called effect technically, the create a token, because there were 8/8. So create a token, animate chariot, that's 8 16 20 plus the 2 counters. We had 22 points of damage, so that might have been the better play to create the tree folk, animate chariot with the tree folk, and then create another attacker slash blocker. So either way, it was game. I figured this is the fastest way to make game. Just put the lance into play, attack for 24 points of damage, rather than it was time consuming. Rather than create the tree folk, animate the tree folk, and then attack and stuff. So either way, Mick 92. That was a good game one. Let's see what we can do in game two. See if we can pull it off. He has Blizzard Brawls. I got Burning Hands. It's a me. No, this doesn't look good. But I get to play some cards. I guess I keep because turn 1, turn 2 into that, and then turn 3 into that with another land as well. And since we don't need blue anymore, since we took out the blue, I'm just going to put this on green anyways. Do you got your Uno Drop Reno? And you do not have your Uno Drop Reno. And there's our red. So we got, now we can cast everything. There's our red for Arlen. So turn 1, turn 2, put it on green, cast this. Turn 3, play this, cast another one. Since, then we'll go from there. So green, pack later. There's another land. So we can even, instead, we can even cast the Mammoth now, technically. If we want to do that. The only problem is I rather would cast the Wolf, honestly. I mean, I'll take the trade if you want to trade. So I have another one in my hand, so I'll take the trade. Old Girl Troll. So we can either play this or we can play this. The 4/4 is kind of unfortunate, which is why also I brought in Thunder and Rebuke. So if I play the Mammoth and then I play a land, I make a 5/5, I can attack. I feel like playing the Mammoth might be the best play here. I mean, obviously having this is also nice. It's tough to say. We do have 4 lands, so we need 5 for what's it called, but I think we're safe if we just play Mammoth here. Because next, like I said, next turn I can shock this, either cast Chariot or play Arlen. So, obviously I'm taking 4 here. This doesn't have Vigilance, right? We're not blocking. If he has his own Chariot, that'd be kind of unfortunate. Yep, he does. Yes, they do. So then, that's another Shadow Skull Smashing. Becomes a 5/5. So, I play Arlen, it creates 2 wolf creatures. It goes down to 1, so it would die to the trample here. So I think the best bet is just to cast this. Cast my own Chariot. Because if I do Arlen and I do the minus to cast the creatures, it goes to 1 toughness. This has trample, so it would get through and just beat us. Let's go to combat. I'm gonna swing in with the Mammoth, I guess, because on the defense, it's a 3/3. It won't do much. If you attack, it says whenever it attacks. So, what do we need? What do we need? I mean, Burning Hand, Thunder Rebuke would be nice. Those would be some nice cards, you know? Those would be some nice card arenas. If I do the plus effect, you may cast creatures as though they had flash, and then it says each creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter. Crew 4, sure. So, do we take 8 here? Or do we double block and try to kill Chariot? I think I try to double block and kill Chariot. Hopefully he doesn't have Inscription in his hand, because then that kind of would blow me out. But if I... The other thing is, it's like, what if he has another Chariot in his hand? You know what I mean? I could take 8, but then that's also not helping me because his board is very wide. If I play Arlen to do the plus, that doesn't help me because I animate Chariot, play this, animate Chariot, swing. It brings out a token at 3/3. 3/3 token, and we have 3 blockers. I think we might just be dead actually. So I think I have to block because we might just be dead if we take the damage. I have a feeling like they have another Chariot in their hand, but I mean I can't stop that. So could have blocked. See, I figured as much. Could have blocked the troll there, I guess, but either way, we're just that was nothing we could do about that. So play that, play that, play that. Yeah, I think we're just dead, right? All right, we're just gonna concede. So if I block the troll, I mean, then he doesn't get to cast Chariot. I mean, that's fine. All right. It might be better now if since we're on the play. Like I said, Toski could be an interesting one. Let's see. Since we're on the play, I think I'm gonna bring in Devouring Tendrils on the play because I can cast. So, for example, like that game, he went on the play, right? So he casts the wolf, and then I cast my wolf. I use it as a chump blocker. But if I'm on the play, I could cast the wolf, and then use the removal to kill his wolf and attack him. So I keep pressure on the board. So let's see what happens though. Double a Chariot Reno. Yeah, and the Arlen didn't really do. I mean, we could have casted it, created some tokens. So if we would have blocked that, casted it, created some tokens. I mean, it is what it is. It's definitely, Arlen's definitely better on the play, though. If we would have drew, I guess, one removal, we would have been fine in that game. Let's just, okay. Play first. Alright, I could keep, because I could cast a turn 3 Arlen, so we'll keep. So turn 1, turn 2, cast this. So turn 1, turn 2, play that turn 3. What am I saying? So turn 1. No, I need green, so I have to play this. Oops. So I have to play this turn 1. Because I need green on turn 2. I'm hoping he doesn't have, you know, a blocker here. That would be nice. It would be even better if he doesn't cast anything, so this could transform. But yes, so no 3-drop at least. Okay, that's fine. Ish. That's fine. Ish. So I attack. It's gonna block. Use that to cast Arlen then afterwards. So let's get Gring. Yep, chump block. You got it. He has to chump block. Otherwise, you're just gonna leave that out there. It's gonna be bad. Let's cast Arlen. Let's create some wolf eyes. And then we get to plus it, cast that, or actually plus it, cast that, make 3 threes. Tracker. Ugh, another one of those guys. Could also do. He's lacking some green mana, huh? Let's just make the 3 threes. No attacks. Go ahead. No attackerinos. No attackerinos. Having 2 of them, I don't like that, my friend. Oh, he's digging for lands. I think he's digging for green lands too. Digging hard for some green lands. Digging hard for green lands. Oh, well, that's lame. Because it has indestructible and vigilance. But I mean, I could animate and block it. So if he attacks, I'll just animate Chariot. So we'll see what he does, though. Yep, that doesn't work. That doesn't work, unfortunately, opponent. You're lucky your guy has vigilance. All right. All right, we win, I guess. All right, we found an opponent. Ascarade. Ascarade. Yeah, we can keep this hand. We have a 2 cost, a 3 cost, and then a possible 4 cost. This creates a wolf, so this triggers with this. We get to draw a card. So this is definitely on red. This is definitely on green. This, and we'll see if this is going to be red or blue. But red, green, and then we'll see what happens with this one. All right, opponent. Let's rumble. Let's rumble in the Bronx. See what colors are playing. Don't. Ah, it's blue-black control. Darn. Well, that helps things out a lot. In a sense that I get to, you know, get double green for this down the road. So this one probably goes under blue now. So if I put this on a blue, cast this probably gets countered by Jordy maybe. Looks like we're playing, yep, Jordy. Guess I should have just maybe upgraded. We'll see. But upgrading doesn't really do much, so. Blue-black control. This one's going on. What the heck is this? Enter the battlefield, X counter. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile all creatures and players. Dominate all creatures and players. Okay. So then if I play this, it takes all my tokens? That seems kind of bad, right? And I don't have... Huh, I can't cast this. This is very weird. Beginning of your upkeep, exile all creatures and planeswalkers with a value less than or equal to the number of void counters on it. And all creatures and planeswalker cards and graveyards with mana value less than or equal. Okay. Well. So I put this on Gring. I could play this, but then I can't upgrade this. If I play this, he just exiles all my tokens. So let's go to combat. Well, that card's actually going to ruin me with these chariots. These chariots are pretty useless now against that card. That's a very interesting card. I mean, oh, it has to go off right in the beginning? Ah, that's kind of not as good as I was putting it to be then. Interesting. Let's go to combat. I was thinking like it can be used whenever, not like it has to be used right away. Membre Deluge. Shadow's Verdict would suck. I need the blue counter spells here now. Gotta gotta draw my negate. Negate would be really good. Negate. We're probably just going to meet Hook. Yeah, of course. Of course. Oh. Resolve all. Alright, so we'll play the other. Oh, we could just play Ren and 7, actually. Never mind. Let's create a token. Let's tap this. Attack for 4. Create that. You're up. We got possible lethal, because if we use the plus effect to go digging for lands, it'd be 6/6s. Shadow's Verdict. Well. 0 lands. Well, that's very unfortunate. Let's see. Upgrade. Upgrade? But I'm not really putting pressure on if I upgrade. I'm surprised they're playing Shadow's Verdict too, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Could also play another Chariot and then upgrade. All right, let's do that instead. So put this on red. Let's play another Chariot. Keep this one. Upgrade. Tap these. Go to combat. Attack. Create a clone. Attack for 5. You're down to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can make it a 4/4 to 5/5. Oh, well, he drew Fill the Ruin. Never mind. Oh, negate. What a good draw. What could he have? I mean, he just... Alright, well, we're definitely going upwards here. Okay. So play land. So I could play the wolf. So that way I could tap the chariot. So if I do, I could also do, let's see. So play the wolf. 1, 2. Make this a 1/1. I could tap that, tap that. Alright, let's try that. So wolf. Oh, I can't do that because it costs green to do it. Scratch that idea. I don't care about that. I'm just gonna go for lethal, buddy. Just gonna go for lethal. Combat. No, thank you, buddy. No, thank you, buddy. Thank you for trying, though. But I cannot let you do what you just did. All right, so Thunder Rebukes, goodbye. No thank you on Thunder Rebukes. So we want the Strokes. I do want the Toskies here too, so because they're indestructible. But the problem is Meat Hook actually. So it goes around Shadow's Verdict obviously because it's higher cost. This is a very interesting card, by the way. Um, maybe I don't want the Toskies because of Shadow's Verdict. I mean, because of Meat Hook. So maybe just to bring in, how many lands do we have? 19 plus 4, that's 8, 27. So maybe I trim one more. Maybe I just take it 61. All right, let's try that. As grade. As grade. Okay. Meat Hook, Shadow's Verdicts, Power Word kills. Opponent has kept their hand. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, play that. Turn 4, play that. Seems slow, but we'll keep, I guess. Seems very slow. Like, we're not casting something till turn 3. That's probably not a good idea against... oh, wait, if I'm casting... Yeah, this has to come in because that otherwise comes in tapped regardless. So turn 3, turn 4, hopefully. We'll see. So here's another possible land. Obviously, it's not good for us because I could cast this. This would be a... So cast this because this could give this one haste if it comes to it. Divide by 0. Divides by 0. Hive. Oh, please play your environmental science. Thank you. Now I get to play Arlen. I don't think my opponent was expecting an Arlen. So, all right, we're going to put this on blue because we brought in more blue spells. So, let's make some wolfies. Boom! Got him. Boom! Hey everybody, welcome to the final analysis, deck changes, sideboard guide of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the commentary, the gameplay, the intros so far from me. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying watching the video, but I mean, especially that one game against the Green Snow deck where we stole the game by top decking Shatter Skull Smashing, kill his 2 blockers, attack for lethal. That was very epic. So but yeah, this is a very solid deck. I think this is the route that aggro decks have to go currently in the format. Technically, they have to go in a way where either they're running black for like duress effects or they're running blue to hold up counter magic with threats on the board. And so that's why I went with Temur Wolves, because like they can apply enough pressure, they can go wide, they can go big, and then when you're playing against like an Is It Churns deck or a blue black control or blue white control or whatever, then you have your disdainful strokes and negates, tested talents, Toskies, whatever, as a way to gain card advantage and counter their big payoff card. Like this deck right now can apply a lot of pressure against Is It Churns, forces their hand to play cards, and then we have the counter spells to back up our creatures if we're going for lethal or to stop them from playing Churns effect or board wipe, whatnot. So I feel like this is the way to go if you want to play an aggro deck, is to go in a way where you're either countering their spells or interacting with their hand in some way, is as far as black. I do have a Jund werewolf deck that we'll be testing out later on this week, so we'll see how that one works. And that one's because it has duress and stuff like that, check for traps, whatnot. But the blue version, obviously, being able to interact with them at instant speed on their turn is very amazing. So, but yeah, so far we're doing really good with this deck. We're crushing random decks here. We're beating the Green Snow decks. We're beating blue black control and and whatnot. So it's a very solid deck. I think this deck is a very solid contender in the current meta, as well as being a very I mean, obviously, Werewolf Tribal was a deck when they first announced that the set came out. People were trying werewolves. But I think Gruul is not good enough. I think you have to make a teamer for the counter spells. But let's go ahead and get into the changes real quick of the deck that I made so far. So from the beginning of the video, if you want to see obviously the deck from the beginning and now it's different, so if you want to try that version, check out the intro. But the final version in the description will have this version in it. So the changes that I made was I added one tested talent, one inscription, one outlander. Cards I took out was the frog cards. I felt like the frog was never used. I never brought it in against any deck. And I also took out the, what is it, devouring tendrils. Same thing. I mean, yes, it fights, it could do damage to creatures, but I feel the inscription was better against the green decks because it was a combat trick at instant speed. So I brought that in as instead of the tendrils. And like I said, the frog card, I never brought it in against any deck. I know it's a 4/4 haste, it exiles cards, makes himself bigger. It's a solid card, but I never brought it in against any deck. Against Green Snow, you know, they trade it with a 3-drop. I cast it a 5-drop, they trade it with a 3-drop. So it just wasn't working. The troll, you know, it just didn't work. So I added inscription, tested talents, and outland liberator for that reason. I cut those 3 cards, but other than that, the main deck is the same, just the sideboard changed slightly because of that. So let's go ahead and get into the sideboard guide. There's only really 3 decks currently being played in the format, so I'm only going to give you a sideboard guide to the 3 decks. There are obviously other decks out there being played, but the majority of decks are either Izzet Churns, Gring, or some kind of ramp retreat deck at the moment, from my knowledge. So first deck we're going to give you a sideboard guide to is the ramp retreat decks. This is most likely going to be in the form of green white. So what I bring in is 2 distinct stroke, 2 mass vandals, and 1 outland. So stroke obviously to counter retreat, maybe counter festival, maybe counter Renin 7, and then mass vandal and outlander is so I could destroy their retreat, because if I don't leave that unchecked, they're going to create a bunch of tokens and go wide and big. So I bring mass vandals and outlander for that reason. Obviously mass vandal needs one of your creatures to be dead technically to do it, so you could play with it. I feel like maybe Outlander might be better in that matchup, but so far Mass Vandal has a 1/3 toughness. That's why I like it, in the sense that it could block tokens and survive. So, but 2 Mass Vandal, 1 Outlander. Cards I take out is 1 Arlen. So if we're making 2 tokens by playing for 4 mana, they can make a token just by playing a land. Don't really want to be doing that. It's 4 costs, 4 costs. If I play this turn 4, they play retreat turn 4, they're probably going to win the battle that way, because like I said, they're just making a land drop and creating a 2/2 where I have to use the -3 effect and then get batted up to 3 and then use it again. So I cut that. Chariot, I end up cutting 1 just because the same thing. Turn 4, if I tap out for Chariot, they play retreat. You know, the 2/2 tokens trade with their tokens just for playing lands. I cut 1 mammoth and 1 scatter skull, because I'm running 28 lands here, 27, 28 lands. I think it's 27. There's 19 here and there's 8, so 27. So I bring it down to 25 because I'm cutting my curve slightly with Arlen and Chariot being cut. That's 2 4-drops, and so I cut the mana slightly, and I'm bringing in cheaper cards. I'm bringing in more 2 mana effects. So I cut the mana slightly for that reason. Obviously, Shadow Skull is not great because, well, we're going to just kill tokens, you know, if we use the sorcery side of it. And Mammoth, it's a great card. I just wanted to cut another effect for these effects. So Mammoth was the one because it just, I mean, it's a land, yes, it's a creature, but I mean, we don't play that many. We're not going to get that many land triggers. I mean, obviously with Ren, you can get it big. And then if you have transform side of Reckless, you can give it trample. So that would be amazing. But that's what I do against the ramp retreat decks. Now, like I said, the Green Snow is one of the top decks. Same with the Izzet decks. So, you know, the Snow decks, this is what I bring in. I bring in 4 Burning Hands, 1 Thundering Rebuke, 1 Inscription. Obviously, Burning Hand because it does 6 damage to any green creature or planeswalker at instant speed for 2 mana. I think any red deck that's being played right now should be having these either in the main board or in the sideboard. one Thundering Rebuke. This is so we could kill the troll, we could kill the wolf, we could kill even if they play the one that lessons or learns whatever, I forgot it's called, the professor. We could kill that. We could kill the Ren and 7 if they ramp into. We could kill the token, so that's good for that. And then Inscription is against them for the combat trick ability. Since it's instant speed, we can either, so we could block a creature and then fight another creature to kill off two of their creatures, or block a creature, put 2/1/1 counters on it. So it's a combat trick, and I want a combat trick against them, so that's why I brought in Inscription. Cards I take out are 2 negates. Obviously against the green aggro snow decks, negates are not great. They're casting Wolf Pack Leader, they're casting, all these other low end cost creatures, the troll, maybe the lesson learned professor guy, whatever. So being able to counter something, obviously we could counter their Ran, their Chariot, or a Ranger class, but outside of that, they're playing a bunch of creatures that we can't do anything with negate with. And then I cut 2 Kessig Naturalist because of Pack Leader. So if we cast this on turn 2, they cast this. They cast Pack Leader on turn 2. We're pretty much suiciding our what's it called, wolf into their wolf. Yes, it has that transform side of giving all wolves +1/+1 and it becomes a 3/3. That is amazing, but I don't want to be having a turn where the only way it's still good in that situation is like we played against that green deck where we suicided our naturalist so we could cast like an Arlen or something. It wasn't a suicide technically because it had the Ranger class token, so we traded the token with this and then casted Arlen. That's the only way he's really good against the green decks. Otherwise, I don't personally like him. And then I cut 1 land pretty much. I cut this because it's a land. I didn't want to cut a land, so I cut Mammoth because this land comes in tapped all the time. And obviously it's a 3/3. If they're having a troll, it's a 4/4. We can't really compete against a 4/4, a Chariot, or a Ren. So I cut 1 Mammoth. That's what I do against the green decks. And then the final deck obviously is the Izzet decks, blue black control. Maybe, you'll see that. Of course, you're going to see Izzet churns, but blue black control is another deck that's being played. Cards I take out or I bring in, bring in 3 Disdainful Strokes, 2 Toski, 1 Test of Talents. Obviously, Disdainful Stroke, I counter their Outrun's Epiphanies. I counter maybe the Memory Deluge, or if they're playing the Izzet Dragons deck, I counter Goldspan Dragon. If they're playing Blue Black Control, you're gonna counter Meat Hook because they're gonna have to do it for at least where it costs 4 mana. So you counter Meat Hook, maybe Shadow's Verdict, maybe Blood on the Snow, some Planeswalkers, and then Toski. They can't. The Izzet deck either has to bounce. They can only bounce him because they can't kill him otherwise. So it's good against that aspect because it gives you an additional draw, and especially since you're bringing in counter spells, being able to draw is going to be really good. So unless they have Fading Hope, they can't really get rid of Toski. And then against the blue-black control decks, they also can't get rid of Toski unless they have Meat Hook, which then that's where the negates and Disdainful Strokes come in play. So I bring in Toski for that. And worst case scenario, he's uncounterable. You cast it on turn 4. You attack with the creatures you have already on board. You should draw at least 1, if not 2 cards. Worst case scenario. And then obviously Test of Talents. The big thing obviously I'm trying to do is Test of Talents, Outrun's Epiphany, but I don't mind Test of Talents seeing something out. So Test of Talents. Cards I take out are 3 Thundering Rebukes. Obviously not good against a so Thundering Rebuke would be fine if you're playing against the Dragons deck, but if you're not playing against the Dragons deck, this doesn't do anything. And like Izzet churns, they don't really play Dragons. Same with Blue Black Control. But if they are playing, Dragons, this could obviously keeping this in would be fine because it kills Goldspan Dragon for 2 mana. I cut 1 Shadow Skull, 1 Mammoth. So I cut 2 lands once again, because I'm bringing a little bit of the small curve in, because I'm also cutting a little higher end curve. I'm cutting 1 Chariot and 1 Arlen. Obviously, Arlen and Chariot are great with Toski because then you get to draw cards. But if they're playing, they're going to be playing counter spells. If I'm tapping out for 4 mana, probably not going to be good for me. So I'd rather keep the curve a little bit lower, so that way on turn 4, turn 5, I can just hold up counter spells and beat them down with what I already have. The Pack Leader, the Naturalist, maybe the Storm Seeker. So I'd rather do that and just hold up counter spells while we're beating them down with a bunch of 3/3s, 2/2s, and stuff like that. So That's what I do against Izzet blue black control. I guess the other if you're playing against the blue white what is it, the stadium deck, obviously Test of Talents, Disdainful Strokes would be good. Mask Vandal and Outlander would be pretty good too, because it destroys the stadium. So those are some cards to think of to bring in against them. So but yeah, so far this deck is very solid. I think it's a very good contender in the format, especially because of the blue. If it was just Gruul Werewolves, I don't think it would do as good. But the blue giving us the counter spells is good against the Izzet. But thank you for watching, everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoy the sideboard guide, my way of sideboarding, the gameplay, my commentary. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it greatly. Hit that thumbs up, hit the bell for the notification. Check the description of the video. It has the portable deck list, Aether Hub there. It has my Twitch. I stream usually 4 to 5 days a week. It has my Discord. I created a brand new Discord. So if you want some help, deck advice, sideboard guide advice, ask somebody a question, whatnot. It's brand new, but it's what is it, like 15 people in there so far. So go ahead and join that if you want. So check the description. Hit that thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next video.